Alright, so I'm looking at the file and I've put in the image reference. So to answer your question, well, first of all, let me explain. I'm looking in the top view and you can see that I can see through the mesh, right? That's with the X-ray. This is the X-ray. So this is it off. This is with it on. Right? This is also on the PDF. Sorry, guide. So what I did was these edges, they weren't. Oh, let me turn something off. These edges, they weren't deleted. I had actually moved them over here. See, I had moved them. See where you have these? This is actually this, and I moved it over. Yeah, remember that these things are malleable. That's what I want to kind of go over too, you know, when I place them. There was a reason why. So in order to, like I said, to move it over here and then delete it. Yeah. I'm pressing 4 right now. And for example, I noticed a couple of things. I have object X-ray turned on, this one, so I can grab, you know, either side quickly. What I did was, again, I'm gonna double click, see, hover over it. I'm in edge mode. Remember, you select your mesh, right click on it, literally right clicking on top of it, edge mode. Double click this, and I press W for the move tool, and all I do is just move it down, like so, like right around here ish. Right around here. If I zoom in, you can see the line right here. See how the line goes? See, even over here. And then this one here, I notice it's kind of off. I'm gonna double click, right? And you see on this side, the flip side is also this light tan color. Again, that's your object X. And then see it's kind of off here, and it's kind of off here. So I'm gonna go in, I double click it, double click, and then I scoot over, see? That, now it's perfect. And that's how we get that exact shape. This down here, again, you know, this thing is annoying me. I'm gonna grab this, right? That's the image plane. I'm gonna go to the attribute editor for it to grab the attributes for this image plane. These are its attributes, right? Attribute tab, editor tab, color gain. It's really bright, it's annoying me, so I'm gonna tone it down so I can see things better. That, I always do this as well. So again, grab the orthographic, attribute editor. For that orthographic, it's the middle tab, color gain, tone it down like that. That's all you gotta do. Sometimes you may need to reload the image if you open it at another computer, right? Just to be aware of that. Like I said, you click on the folder and bum 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 bum, you go to where it should be. Alright. I'm gonna go back down in here, select the mesh, right click, hold it, edge mode. Here's this edge, double click it, zoom out a bit to see the move tool. Right, I double clicked it. I'm gonna pull it back. I do notice this here, right? This could be a little bit more, this edge could be scooting more towards the left, right? See how it's kind of doing this? This is more, this is enough of a difference where this should be corrected. Or actually, you know, double click this. Maybe if I go, okay, so I'm bringing it back. I changed my mind. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty close. And you know what? Right click on top of it. Go to vertex mode. In vertex mode, I'm gonna just left click outside, marquee, right? The box select, like that. So click outside, like that. Come back in, zoom in. I'm gonna just scoot it out like that, up to here. That way it should be snug, like that. See, perfectly snug. Even down here, right? I'm gonna make it snug. Right, marquee dragged it like that. Here, this one is pretty close. I'm gonna go in, select all of that. I'm using the top, right? It says top, not the perspective view. See, perfectly straight. Minor stuff here, but I rather have that than what was previously. Okay. Press 5. Before I was in 4. I'm going back to 5. And I'm going to edge mode. Right click, edge. Kind of don't need this right now. Because remember, this is the one that was over here that I did. Shift right click and hold it, delete edge. Right. Again, don't do this where you double click, right? Don't do this where you just press the backspace, or if you just press the delete key, because it looks like it's gone, right? But you see this? You see this segmentation, right? If I right click vertex mode and hold it, vertex mode, see, it leaves this behind. Remember, that's what I mentioned previously about doing shift right click. And let me delete this. I mentioned the shift right click. Let me go to edge mode. Shit. So I'm in edge mode, and remember to delete, to have a clean deletion, right? Shift right click, delete edge. Remember, this will delete the edge as well as the vertices, right? Versus where you just select the edges, and pressing backspace will delete the edge, but it will leave behind the vertices. Remember that, always remember that. I've had, as I mentioned before, students that still do that, and it's a disaster. So that's how we've correct that. So this so far looks okay, it's working with height wise. I have an issue with this. These, right? Okay, I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna make a copy of it. Oh, by the way, also my other thing is this thing needs to be this, not the inside. So basically what I'm gonna do is I need this thing to be higher. So I'm gonna grab all the buttons. It should be at least this high. At least. Because it's gonna end up being something more. Next thing is press R, and you see this right here, this card. These are just cubes, 3D cubes. This is the card. Right, remember these are the cubes for the scale. These flat cards that are floating is constrained scale, these cards. So this, I'm gonna pull on that card. That way it's just constrained. Only to 2 axes. See, if you look over here, 2 axes. So let's say 1.69, or say 1.170, like that. I'm gonna just remember that number. I'm gonna grab this one and put 0.17. 0.17. See? Or you could also highlight it, press Control C, right? Or you know what? Let me highlight this and this. So what I did was right now, I press Control, I click it. I press Control, I click it. Right, holding Control and you click. Okay. And now I'm gonna do Control C to copy it. So pressing Control will specifically select this and this. Then I do Control C to copy this number. I'm gonna go click here now, the next one. And then do, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna freaking grab this, delete it, grab it, delete it, get out of my way, grab this, alright. Okay, let me also delete this. I have something better. This guy right here, this button, I'm gonna name it button 1, right? And you notice how it has the inputs, right? Inputs, this valuable information, right? In case if I ever need it. Because let's say if I wanted 3 caps. See what I just did right here? Right? So I grab this, button 1. Wait, what is this? These, get rid of that. Delete. Always keep your outliner clean. This button 1, I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate Special, right? Edit, Duplicate Special option box. Bring this out. This, right, set to Parent and Duplicate Input Graph, right? Again, that's Edit, Duplicate Special option box, right? Default is this. All I want is duplicate input graph. If I click it, see how everything else grays out? And then I'm gonna do apply. And I'm gonna close. Button 2 is here. Grab it, and I'm gonna just move it. Right? What that did was this button 2, it still carries along the inputs for it in case I need to make any changes. Right? And then if I want to make a copy of this with these inputs, right? Reason why you want this, just in case if you want to go back in and add more edges and stuff under its default values when it comes when it comes in pre-made, this stuff. And then edit, see this duplicate special, its hotkey is Control Shift and D as in David. Control Shift D as in David. Control Shift D as in David, made another one, move it over. Control Shift D as in David, move it over. Control Shift D as in David, move it over. Control Shift D as in David, move it over. Control Shift D. Control Shift D. That way you can always have it. I want these to be organized, so I can select it, press and hold the middle mouse button, drag it until you just see this dotted line. If you see a dotted rectangle, that means you're about to dump it into another object. You don't want that. All I want is a dotted line, and I'll just move it there. If I grab it and I do this, where you see a rectangle dotted line, that means you dumped it in there. Alright, so just that. You know what? I'll show something else as well. These, right? Let's say if I delete it, right? Well, I wanted to show this before to give you the options to understand, right? That there's different types of duplicate special. This is one of them where you have access to this. But what if I were to delete this? Okay. And I also want to show something else. Right. So what if I were to go in here and then make this like that? The height for the scale, like 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, like 0.5, let's just say. Let's just assume. Wait a minute. Hey. This is back to 0.3. The height baseline, remember I mentioned -1. The height baseline. I've sent the screenshots for these specific settings. As you can see, there's real world applications as to why I teach these things. Because now, see how it's at the base floor, the practical applications of it, versus before it was in the middle of it and it was stuck in the like this, right? Please understand these things. Okay. So I have this. Right. And then I'm gonna go to edit. This is the other one I wanted to show. Duplicate special option box. Now, if I have this, right, duplicate input graph, whatever's in here, input, duplicate it. This is the graph of information, you could say. There's this thing called instance leaf nodes. If I turn this on, you're gonna instance whatever you do here, you make a copy of it, the duplicate special copy, it will update all the other ones because it will instantaneously update them. These fancy words, leaf nodes, it's basically the construct of it, whatever extra stuff you do to it, blah 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 blah. Anyway, apply and close it. Button 1. Going back here, this is the third optional choice for the duplicate special, right? I did Control Shift D. See, Control Shift D, 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 Control Shift D. So what's the difference? Well, let me check this over a bit. Alright. So let's say, for example, if I grab this is the first one, right? And I go right click, edge mode. You see all these other guys? You see how they're lighting up blue? You see all the other ones, right? If I double click, I have the mirroring on, right? If I go shift right click, bevel, boom, see, they all update. And I can do something like that and maybe do like pop, pop, maybe fraction, make it more like that. And segment set to 4, something like that maybe. I don't have the images of the buttons on me right now, right? But I'm just saying this is how it quickly updates for all of them. If I don't like it, I can go back in. Maybe I'll set the scale to what, 0.5? Oh, it doesn't update that. I wonder why. Huh. It should update that, but it doesn't. Interesting. What if I update in here? 0.25? Ah, see? This is why the inputs are important. You see? Up here, this scale, you see how this scale, it did not update, but this height, it did update. I hope that makes some sense. Again, if I grab this, press R, it won't. But if I do it here, under the inputs, it will. That's too much, but I'm just saying. If I grab the child of it, right, button 5, it should update everybody too. See, even the child. Conversely, what you can also do is, if I go into, say, component mode, right, I grab, say, some of these. In component mode, it will also update. It just won't update in this scale, channel box this scale, but it will update under the inputs. It's just the way it works. Yeah, so that's how we do that. Okay, I think that's about it. And these have to also be done where there's a hole, a gap. Right click edge mode, double click that, right? Press R. Right. If I this, yeah, you see how I was doing some weird, shit? You see this? The reason why is that it's because of the symmetry. I'm gonna turn it off. And then I'll click outside. Come back in, double click that. Now it's centered, right? The symmetry has to be off, because the symmetry, when you have multiple things selected, symmetry just bugs out on you, and it'll do that. I'm gonna press 4. I'm gonna just now do the constraint scale. Ooh, wait a minute. I have this here is the underside of it. See, this is the underside. See this right here? So I need to grab both. Right click, vertex mode. I'm just gonna grab holding control shift. Holding control and shift will grab everything. You keep on selecting it. It's an add-on effect in terms of what it grabs. Control and shift. So what that did was I grabbed both sides, top and bottom. And here I'm gonna press R. I'm gonna press this. Symmetry is off. I think it was what, around here-ish, I think. Forgot. This is why having the image references is so important. Alright, so this is what I also wanted to share. Here are some of the images for the button. This is where you can see this beveling effect, right, and how important image references are, right? There's no way to visualize this unless, damn it. I hate that. I freaking hate. The hell did it go? So there's no way to know this without having close-up images. Like I took easily an hour of collecting images, right? Looking for specific angles and shots so I can see this. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. The curvature of this beveling, right? Because right now, this isn't it. See, this is completely wrong. So I go back into the bevel, select it, press T, as in Tom. Maybe it's the depth. Right, yeah, it's the depth like that. And then also the fraction, more. Like that, there you go. Much better. If I press 3, it's getting there. Right, yeah. Press 1. Bring it back to low poly. So depth, maybe like that. Fraction, maybe down to around there. Right. You see how everything else updates, auto updates. Press Alt 5 to get out of it. Getting better. See? Already starting to look nice. Like you can tell this is a joystick and button platform. I call this the button pad or platform, whatever you want to call it. Press 1. Press Alt 5. Bring back the wireframe unshaded. So yeah. And then later you go back in and oh yeah, by the way, this is what I'm basing off of. I know it seems as though there's two types of the Panthera, right? There's this one, which is the one I'm basing off of, and then there's I believe this is the older model, right? I think, but they're definitely different. I think they're different because this here, right? You don't see the angle coming down on this end. It's just straight block, and this one you can see the angle coming down. See? So I'm basing off of this, not this. All right, and you can also tell this one, this little whatever the hell this is panel thing is in the middle, while it's over here and it looks different. So I'm basing off of this. Hence the reason why understanding what we're researching, grabbing as many image references is so important. Absolutely critical. So those are the things I recommend fixing. And then yeah, this one, this is getting my way. Just press W, get out of my way. I would grab probably like say that button 1. Right. Maybe I'll grab button 8. Make a copy of it. Control Shift. Actually, you know what? No. See this stupid mouse. This is flat. So I would need a flat cylinder. And you can see the height of it. It's pretty thin, but it does have a slight little bevel. You see the clue is the lighting glint over here. So there's a slight little bevel, ever so slight. See that right there? That's how you can tell that overall beveling and the lighting of it affecting it. This is done using a bump map, which I go over. All of this to develop observational skills. Yeah, so I would correct that, make this, and then you'd have to cut out the hole right here, all of that as well. I would experiment with cutting out that hole, right? And then hopefully if you remember, there's this thing called bridge, where you can bridge it after you make the hole. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before I let go. Double click that. Now this dark color, right? It seems to be where this here, it seems to be where this is starting out like that. And this button slots in. So if I press F, alright, so this, if I zoom in, yeah, it's right on the money, right there. This and this, see? Perfect. pretty much perfect almost. And what I can do is, if I go in here, see, if I grab like that, right? See, press 4. Again, I'm in edge mode. I can grab it like that. I'm gonna hide the grid. Press 5. See? You know what? I changed my mind. I want to go face mode. Now's the time I need to grab the controller because it's irking the hell out of me because I'm accidentally grabbing it. I'm gonna grab the controller, make a display layer. Let's name it something.